It was a little while ago when Kendrick Perkins was on the mothership and he was arguing with J.J. Redick, and he talked about maybe the white voters for the MVP are voting for the Joker. And it got a lot of attention. He was called out by, current former players. Charles Barkley said it was, absurd. ESPN issued an apology after they went back to see how many white voters there are, how many minority voters there are. But I do think that moment maybe shined a different spotlight on Joel Embiid and away from the Joker, because now the favorite to win the MVP is Joel Embiid. DraftKings even has odds on this. NBA MVP odds, Joel Embiid is minus 220, Joker plus 250. That turned quickly. Now, Joel Embiid has played great. Philadelphia's won, 9 of their last 10? And I think Joel Embiid's going to win the MVP. Oh, by the way, the Joker had his 28th triple-double. Last night he had 22, 17, and 10. And Nuggets beat the Nets. I think what happened, the Nuggets had lost their 2 previous games where Joker had a triple-double. And it almost felt like the voters were saying, oh, you got to win these games, or you're losing these games late. And I think it was unfair to the Joker. But Embiid has played great. I do think playing on the East Coast where everybody gets to see your games, whereas Denver, you got to kind of go out of your way to find them. I think we look at the stats. Joker never makes the highlights. If he does, it's, by the way, up and under, or, a couple of Akeem shakes there, dream shakes, a nice pass or something. But Embiid has put up big numbers, and it's probably going to win the MVP. Yeah, Paul.
Do you think Embiid's story should help him? Remember the early back injuries? He missed it, or foot injuries and the back injuries. He missed his first 2 seasons. It's almost like that's such an afterthought.
Yep.
Back-to-back scoring champ. He's going to be scoring champ again. He's actually up to 33.5. Likeable guy, good with the media. He seems like a fair pick. Really, it's almost like give him a turn.
Well, I don't know if you give people turns. It's who deserves the MVP.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I don't agree. I think sometimes that when a guy has run his course, like Giannis had his turn twice, and it's almost like they moved on from him, and the Joker got his turn twice.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way. If you're the MVP, you're the MVP. Not you've had a couple. Got to share it. I mean, Jordan, when he didn't win those 2, but Barkley and Malone both had unbelievable years, and they may have had the most wins in the NBA those 2 seasons. I still voted for Jordan, but and caught some grief in both of those cities because of it. But I kept saying, I don't know how you equate value. To me, he wins titles, and he'll win the title this year. And I said that of both of those years when Malone won it and when Charles won it. And Mike beat both of those guys in the finals. Yes, Mark.
Do you think, so March 27th, the Sixers play the Nuggets. Do you think that could probably, give, the MVP to whoever wins that game?
Let's just do that. Let's put it right there on the floor.
Ooh. Bring the MVP trophy out there. Just do the ceremony right there. I don't know if it'll come down to that, but if it does, that would be interesting. I mean, I'd hate for you're going to hand out the MVP based off one game, a showdown between these two. And Embiid did get the better of Joker last time they played, but it feels like there's Joker fatigue. I think that's maybe the voters were like, we got to vote for him. And then all of a sudden, Kendrick Perkins said what he said, and then I think people revisited Joel Embiid's numbers. And I think because of that, you're like, well, wait a minute here. They do play well. You haven't heard much about them, and he's leading in scoring. Yeah, Marv.
And I think it's unfair because it's a regular season award, but he might get punished because of the lack of success in the postseason. If he had won a title or maybe even gotten to the finals, one of those 2 MVP seasons, it might be a little easier for people to vote for him, but they don't want to put him in the Bird, Chamberlain, Russell category.
But Joel Embiid, what's his playoff success?
Well, he doesn't have an MVP. That's what I'm saying. It'd be different. If Joel Embiid had won the last 2 MVPs, no one would be voting for him for a 3rd straight year if they didn't have playoff success.
But they're going to give it to him, and he has no prior playoff success.
Touche.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So the Joker doesn't, but he's won back-to-back MVPs. And I do think they're like, he's not Bird, and he's not Wilt, and he's not Bill Russell. And he's not. But he's still, it's hard to argue that he's not the MVP. Yes, Marv.
So just give it to Giannis. He's got playoff success.
He does. Yeah, Giannis was the great story. I mean, that's an unbelievable story. Joel Embiid was, great at Kansas, number one pick, and then he had his back issues. He's actually battled injuries here. But Giannis had a triple-double last night. Bucks beat the Warriors. So he's quietly put up great numbers, but he's distant third with the MVP race here. Yeah, Paul.
When are you going to go with your Domantas Sabonis campaign?
Well, I do think he's great.
You going to unveil that soon? I think the Kings are in the 2 seed.
Yes, they are. They are. He should be a top 5 MVP candidate this year. Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I'm going to base this off a record, the team, and winning, Sabonis has been unbelievable. And that's a great story. Once again, you have to go out of your way to find Sacramento games. And are they going to make the highlights? Sabonis is going to give you a what? Crisp bounce pass, nice putback. And that does factor in because, voters, are they out there watching all these games? They're not. If you cover the Bucks, okay, how many games are you seeing other than the game right in front of you? And I treasured being able to vote on the awards when I was at the mothership. But I was watching more basketball than anybody else was because I had to. I had to watch all those games, not just highlights. And therefore, you got a true sense of who is playing great or MVP or what do they mean to their team. If I show you 45 seconds of highlights, I can make you look really good or really bad. And some of these guys don't have those highlights. And I do think that hurts them. Yes, Mark.
And I think Sabonis going into next season, the Kings will have more nationally televised games because they're good. And so I think more people will be able to see them.
I don't know if they're going to tune in to see them. They're good. But you're tuning in to see Memphis because of Ja Morant.
Well, De'Aaron Fox is a highlight reel himself.
I know, but I don't know if people are going to want to watch Sacramento. Sabonis is a wonderful player, but you're not tuning in to see him. And these TV executives, the networks, they want eyeballs here. What do you show? Above all else, the Lakers and LeBron. Golden State Warriors. You'll put the Celtics in there. Luka. You'll put in the Bucks because they're good, because of Giannis. But he is a highlight guy too. Yes, Paulie.
I got to tell you, I don't know what, 2003, Weber, Peja Stojakovic, Doug Christie, Mike Bibby, Vlade Divac, Hedo Turkoglu Kings team was a blast to watch. They had that little 3-year run where everyone loved them. That stadium was jumping. Everyone's buying that purple stuff, purple and black.
Yeah, but they were only on national TV because they played the Lakers in the playoffs. And therefore you saw them. I loved it. I loved Peja Stojakovic, C-Web. I mean, they were fun. There was atmosphere there. Phil Jackson hated the cowbells. I mean, it was fun. But it was more about who were the Lakers playing, and Phil had these comments. And it was an unbelievable series there. And maybe there was some suspicious officiating in that series. Yes, Paul.
The Kings made the playoffs from 98 to 2006. They haven't made it since. After Rick Adelman left, guess who was their head coach for one season in 2006 and 2007? Full circle, Eric Musselman. Whoa. Yep, he was the coach. They were 33 and 49 with the big muscle, and then Reggie Theus took over for a few years.
He didn't take his shirt off when he was in Sacramento, I don't think.
He did not.
Yeah.
He put on a sweater with that record.
Yeah.
Turtleneck.
Show me your beam. What, Todd?
I heard you.